as a way of preparing to meet futuristic demands. We are no longer restricted by a sense of time-space states. We have more of an awareness of simultaneity and the importance of now. We're starting to embrace broader dimensions of future. With the kids, it's the development of the temporal lobes. With the adults, it's the expansion of the temporal lobes. With the kids, it's the birth of imagination. That's what scientists call this time frame. I believe with adults, it is the rebirth of imagination. In other words, future memory episodes are a signal that the brain is developing, evolving, moving into higher states of consciousness. I believe it is a signal of the development of the higher brain, so more and more of the higher mind can be accessed. Again, I say to you, we cannot progress through earth plane living without a sense of future, because that's where continuity comes from. That's where contrast comes from. We can't recognize anything without contrast. That's where perspective comes from. We need that in order to appreciate past. We must have an awareness of future.
Mm-hmm. But, as we know, the future is not set in stone. So, there are these different probabilities. And
that's when you're getting into altered states of consciousness. That's when you're getting into psychic abilities. That's when you're getting into other ways of using faculties normal to us. When we're talking about psychic abilities, what we're really talking about is expansions of faculties normal to us. So I'm not talking here about faculty perception.
Okay.
I'm talking about brain development, which I think is so exciting, at least to me, and I hope your listenership too, that these kinds of incredible events that happen to us that turn us around and enable faculties to expand, these kinds of transformational events are natural and normal and necessary and part of the evolution of the species. They're happening more and more. They need to happen more and more. And if you get into my book, Beyond the Indigo Children, I get very deeply into the evolution of the species, which I believe is happening right now. We're making that quantum leap as a species.
That's one of
the higher
I've written about in my new books, Convoluted Universe, is the same thing, that we are evolving. It's as though the vibrations, the frequencies are speeding up. And I've been told we are bringing back psychic abilities that were lost. And we need them now to survive, and that we are evolving. And as a race, we're evolving into a whole new dimension.
And my job as a researcher is to track that, to pinpoint that, to observe that, to be able to show how it's happening and why it's happening.
But see, that way you're able to look at it scientifically and with the medical, the physical, to be explained it in that way. As that's
my job. That's what I came back for. Remember what I was told. It said test revelation.
Uh-huh. Okay, because I just write what I find.
Right.
But you're going back.
But see, I don't.
You're going back to actual
I'm a field worker.
Of what is actually happening with the physical body.
A lot of people call me the gumshoe of near death. I'm the gumshoe person. I'm a field worker. I'm out there observing and testing, having sessions with significant others as well as the experiencer themselves, testing it again and again with different populations in different parts of the country and in other countries, testing it again in sessions with significant others. In other words, it's not enough that a channeler or a psychic or a person under hypnosis says these incredible things and these incredible words and tells us and gives us this information. For me, is it real? Can I isolate it?
Okay.
Can I describe it? Is there an underlying purpose here? Is there underlying energies here?
You're going at it more as a scientist in that way.
Yeah. Well, hey, what guides me is the words of the physicist Wolfgang Pauli. His name's kind of hard for me to say, but anyway, Wolfgang Pauli.
Yeah.
When he said, and I quote, "We need a new science to explore the objective side of human consciousness and the subjective side of matter. Not mysticism, but a science willing to incorporate objective and subjective avenues to discovery while recognizing the legitimacy of personal experience." End of quote.
Yeah, but that's where you have to be objective, which is difficult because, it is bordering on the psychic.
That's the new science.
Yeah.
That's the new science.
And
I consider myself to be one of the new scientists.
Yes, I consider you to be that, too. When I give lectures in my near-death experiences, well, in mine is not the near-death. Mine goes beyond that, too, the real-death experiences I've discovered through hypnosis. But when I'm doing a lecture on that, I always ask the audience, is there anyone in the audience that has had a near-death experience? And there will usually be at least 3 or 4 people raise their hands, no matter what country in the world I'm at.
Right.
And then I ask them different questions, and invariably the experience is the same.
Well, the pattern is the same.
But, the skeptics, you've heard the skeptics, they're always saying, it has to do with medication.
My dear, there is not one single skeptical objection that has not been overturned through scientific research.
Yeah, we know it's real, but they come up with these really absurd explanations that it has to do with, the oxygen deprivation.
Well, we've
already
proved all of that to be false. I'm now in the process of rewriting and updating the complete Idiot's Guide to Near-Death Experiences. Yes, I wrote an idiot's book.
And you said it's not a very good title, but it's...
Only the new one will not have the idiot's name in the title. I'm getting rid of that title. I didn't have any choice before. I do now.
Yeah.
And it's literally an encyclopedia of the entire field. So anybody who can get a hold of the old one, the original one, the Complete Idiot's Guide to Near-Death Experiences, they will have a complete encyclopedia of the entire field. Well, now it's going to be even more complete. And now we have so much more verified research than we had even back in the year 2000 when the book came out. Just in the 6 years.
I think
the new information is so exciting.
That's why I think what we are trying to do is to present enough information that maybe the skeptics will be turned around, the scientists and like that, because I always figure in a scientific experiment, they repeat something over and over and over again before they declare that it's valid. What's the difference between that and the kind of work that I do, where I have the same results over and over and over again? That, to me, is scientific evidence.
But well, you're going to have to underscore that with third-party verification and, that kind of stuff. And if you're able to underscore your work, then you're going to have something that's worth looking at. What you have to consider here is that millions of people who have near-death experiences do not prove the near-death experience. What you have to look at are the patterns. You have to look at the pattern of after effects, the pattern of the experience, the pattern of the effect it has on the individual, and then you can say, aha, we've got something valid here.
Okay, because I mostly just accumulate evidence where you're going after it and trying to tear it apart.
You've got to underscore it. You've got to underscore whatever you
find
do.
out, there.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I think we're both out there
sure.
doing extraordinary work. We're on the. I'm always looking for something that's not known and trying to explain things that people don't know or don't understand. That's what I'm looking for. So,
well, I ran into that doing the near-death research and then followed it through.
Okay.
But then you've got to realize, dear, that I was one of these weird kids as a child. And I in the first grade, for instance, I was the only kid in school.
Okay, but PMH, I'm watching the clock.
Oh, we don't have time. Well, I had all these extra kinds of abilities.
I didn't mean to interrupt them, but I'm just thinking I got.
Yeah, we're running out of time. I can't tell my little stories.
Well, they always want me to stop at 5 minutes till, so they can insert commercials later.
Okay. Well, are we there? Are we there, dear?
I'd love to hear some more of these stories. Maybe you can come back another time.
Well, I would love to, and we can talk about all kinds of things.
Oh, I know, because with all of your books, you've got a lot of things we can discuss.
Oh, I'm now a blogger. HTTP, what is it, a colon, / PMHAtwater.blogspot.com. Can you imagine? I'm now a blogger.
Oh, okay, because I was going to ask how people can contact you, but you've already given out your website.
Yeah, the website, www.PMHAtwater.com.
And would they be able to communicate with you through that?
Well, I I discourage too much of that because I could get hundreds of those emails, and, you can't answer them all. But yes, you can reach me through the website.
Okay, I'm the same way. Mine pile up, and I apologize.
Yeah, and I'm working on another book now, and, I'm just being real with people and saying, I don't have much time anymore for email. I just don't.
Well, it's the same way with snail mail. I tell them I will do it if I can, but it's just getting to be too much.
Yeah, I do what I can.
We're coming to where we're going to have to sign off, and I just want to tell people again, my website is ozarkmountain.com. The name of my company is OZARKMT.com.
And to all the listeners, my goodness, Dolores has written incredible books. You ought to get some.
And we're old friends anyway. I like to have people on the show that I know real well. Okay.
Well.
All right. Well, I think it's going to be about time to sign off then. And thanks a lot for coming on.
Well, thank you for the privilege and the pleasure.
And we'll
Many blessings, dear.
We'll do it again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.